Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today we're going to be taking a trip down to the Tunnel of Love, and we're going to be interviewing Marni Kinrys, aka the Wing Girl. You may see her YouTube videos or listen to her podcast, Ask Women. She is the love doctor. She's the female Alex Hitchings. And we are going to be talking to her today, and it's going to be pretty exciting. She's very smart, very funny, very articulate, and I want to find out a little bit about my own personal dating life and everything, and we're going to be discussing that and a lot of things today. I want to find out a lot more about her, how she became such a dating expert so young, because she's like well beyond her years, and she's just so smart. I want to find out a lot more about her. And that's what we're going to do today. So yeah, here is my interview with Marni Kinrys. Oh, and by the way, rest in peace, Tab Hunter, teen idol singer and actor from the 50s. You may remember him from Damn Yankees and Battle Cry and movies like that. Oh, and Lust in the Dust, the classic 80s Western with Divine. Great movie, but it's really sad that Tab passed away. So rest in peace, Tab Hunter. And here's my interview with Marni Kinrys. Hello?
Hi, this is Marni.
Hey, Marni. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, I am just ecstatic. Thank you for taking the time today. I watch your YouTube videos, and I love your podcast, Ask Women, too.
Thank you.
I think you're such a babe, and I'm so impressed at how smart you are. I mean, you're like well beyond your years.
Thank you. It means a lot to me. Maybe you don't know how old I am.
How old, if I may ask?
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm 74.
Wow. How many facelifts have you had? Wow. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. When you were little, what did your parents tell you about boys?
You know what? They never really told me anything about boys. I never really got instructions from my parents on how to interact with them or what I'm supposed to think about them. My parents just always listened to me talk and then responded, and I never really had questions about boys. I think I've always known my opinions, and they may not have been the right opinions, but I'm pretty headstrong, so anything that I was doing, I was pretty certain of it, and if I had ideas to bounce off of them, they'd be open to that, but there was never any direct instructions on how to relate or interact with them. I do remember when I was younger, my mom had made these cutouts of, like, naked cutouts of each of our family members
Right.
to show me, like, body parts. My point is that everything was pretty open in my household. Not that we were like hippies walking around naked in front of each other, but even though my parents are kind of stiff, they were still very open and accepting of many things and comfortable talking about, like, a ton of different topics. So, I never really had questions about them. I was never told anything about them on either side, good or bad.
Yeah, I can relate. I mean, my parents never gave me any instructions either. I just got instructions from a lot of boys at school who told me, stay away from girls, you'll get cooties and you'll die. And I believe that.
Yeah, I never really had that either. I was more like of an observer. I always just liked seeing and hearing things and then making my own decisions. And it wasn't really about what other people were doing.
Mm-hmm. How old were you when you started dating?
Dating?
Mm-hmm.
When I actually went on a real date, I don't think I ever really dated anybody until my 20s. But, I hung out when I was younger. I had boyfriends. When I was younger, I made out and, like, fooled around, had sex with boys when I was younger. But, yeah, the actual dating was in my 20s.
In your actual 20s. And were you popular in school?
I guess you could say I was, yeah.
Nice. So with all the boyfriends you had and all the, not actual dating, but just all the boyfriends you had and everything, I mean, how and when did you realize you were such an expert on dating that you decided to make a career out of it?
I probably when I was 23 years old. I think I've always had an interesting take, and I've always been able to advise people, and I was constantly advising my male friends when we were in high school. But I didn't realize that I could do it as a career professionally until I was about 23, when I randomly was at a singles mixer at a rabbi's house, and nobody was talking to each other. And the point of, singles mixers is to engage and talk to each other and make out and have fun. So when nobody was engaging, I started grabbing men and pulling them over to women and starting conversations for them and helping pump up the guys. And then by the end of the night, people were exchanging phone numbers. Like one couple were making out with each other, and I felt pretty good about what I had done. So I went home and I said to my roommate, who was a dude, I want to be a wing girl. I want to do this professionally. And he's like, no chance in hell are people going to pay you to do this. And I was like, I think they will. And I marched into my room, put an ad on Craigslist, and by the next morning I had over 75 guys actually, who had responded to me saying that they were interested in finding out more. And I was too. I didn't really know what I was offering at the time, but I learned as I went along, and I realized how many questions men had about what women think, what they want, why they behave the way they do, what they mean when they say something. And so initially, my job was to go and pick up women for men, but what I ended up doing was really giving them inside access to how women work and giving them the tools and the skill set that they need to be successful with women without turning into like a big wimpy guy or a big douchebag.
Yeah. And did a lot of these guys hit on you in the process?
No, I never had that. And if they were hitting on me, well, in the beginning, they didn't even really know how to hit on other women, let alone me. I think they understood that it was a professional role. I am a very sporty person by nature, and that helped them be more comfortable. But I really think that they saw me as a sister figure or a best friend, and that wasn't really on the table. To this day now, I have some people, because I work with a lot of people virtually, I have some people who, try to engage me by flirting, and some people I definitely respond to because their opening messages or the way they interact with me pulls that out of me naturally. And I typically take those examples and I show them to other people on my newsletter list or who listen to my podcast so that they can do the same thing that those people were doing. But nobody ever extends it or lets it get to a point that's uncomfortable, because either I would cut it off before it got to that place if it was going down a negative path, or hopefully they would cut it off when they realize they want me as a resource and as a friend so that they can do this with other ones. But I will say that I do know when I am successful with somebody, when they start to flirt with me and I feel something. And it's never like an intention of, I want to get you into bed, but it's like a different side of the person that I've been working with. That's when I know that something's working that I'm doing. When they interact with me in a flirty, fun way, which typically they're not able to in the beginning.
Right. Now, when you started, had the movie Hitch come out yet?
Had it come out? I think it just did. Now let me Google this. What year did Hitch?
2005.
Yeah, 2005. So what year did I start doing this? Oh, I started in 2004. So I guess it had not come out yet.
It was probably being filmed when you started.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I know that they were trying to do a television show afterwards, and I remember pitching myself to be the consultant on that show because I definitely wanted to help them out, and then that show never became anything.
Oh, wow. So how long ago did you start making the YouTube videos?
On a consistent basis, I started probably 10 years ago when I would just randomly put videos up, or I'd see something on TV and then I'd steal it from TV and I'd put captions onto it. So it was pretty random before. So, I'd post something and then 3 months later I'd post something else. But consistently about 4 to 5 years ago.
Nice. Yeah, I like how blunt and honest you are about men and women's relationships, and I just love how you're not afraid to tell the guy that he's being creepy. I wish all women were like that.
I think most women, well, I appreciate that first. I think a lot of women don't know how to say that to men, either because they're scared, they're not aware of what they're actually feeling, or they're not really aware of how to, kindly give that information to men. So they either rather avoid it or ignore it or sort of push past it because it's uncomfortable, and it's not comfortable to tell guys, you're creeping me out right now. And plus, a lot of women in the past, if they've said these things to men, a lot of men haven't responded so favorably. So I think protection is a huge thing for women as well. Numerous reasons as to why that's not happening. But I appreciate you saying that I do that because I like to think that I'm delivering helpful advice to men, and the feedback that I've gotten is that yes, I am absolutely doing that. So that makes me feel good.
Oh, my pleasure. You certainly are. So for my listeners who aren't familiar, what is the Wing Girl method?
What is the Wing Girl method? So the Wing Girl method is my company, but the method that I teach men is how to attract, date, seduce, get, and keep the girl you want if you want to keep her. And it's all delivered from the female side. I provide the skills, tools that anybody else is going to provide with my own twist, but I give access to the female perspective, which a lot of male coaches obviously don't have direct access to. And it's my own unique spin based on about 15 years of working in this world of dating and relationships, plus my own experience as a woman for X number of years, and 5,000 other women that I've interviewed since I started my company.
Nice. And so I listened to your podcast, Ask Women, and I love it. It's pretty funny and it's very insightful. And
awesome.
Yeah, and I just like how you got what's her name, Kristen Carney on there.
Yeah.
She's a comedian. I'm a stand-up comedian. I don't.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know her, but I'm familiar with her. She's pretty funny.
Good. I'll pass that on to her. We're actually going to do our podcast later today, so I'll let her know that. Trust me, as you know from the podcast, she needs any reinforcement or positive feedback to keep herself going.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I think I emailed her for an interview, but I haven't she hasn't gotten back to me yet.
Oh, I'll tell her today.
Oh, thanks. That would be great.
Yeah. Awesome.
How long have you been doing that podcast?
I guess 4 years now. We're on our 251st episode, so a long freaking time.
Wow.
Yeah. How long have you been doing your podcast?
I've been doing this since May of last year, and I'm on...
Okay, so you've been doing a long time, too.
Yeah. This is my 149th episode.
Oh, my God. Congratulations.
Thank you. I just can't wait till I graduate to moving to LA and getting my own studio. That's going to be awesome when it eventually happens.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's the big plan, I guess.
Yes, it is.
With podcasting, though, you don't need to do it. Like, who was it who just interviewed Obama out of his basement? There's no need for a huge studio or to relocate.
Oh, Mark Maron, yeah.
Yeah, Mark Maron, exactly.
I know. Well, I want to be in LA because I act and I screenwrite, and I do comedy and stuff. And plus, I want to be a horror host and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Everyone tells me that would be like my perfect job for me to do. But
cool.
But let me tell you my dating history now. So when I was like I said, I didn't really have any instructions about women other than that they had cooties and stuff when I was a kid, But I was very safe around my mother, my grandmother, and my cousins, and I actually get along with women better than I do with men, I have to say. And it wasn't until I got to high school when all that went away and I stopped being shy around women. I started asking them out and stuff, but I had no point of reference as to how to talk to them and stuff. And I talked to all of them like they were one of the guys because I hung out with so many tomboys that they were turned off by me, and that carried on into my 20s, and then when I was 23, I lost 130 pounds, and
Oh my God.
my best friend and I from childhood reconnected, and he taught me how to how to be around women and ask them out and stuff. And basically, what he told me was, be cocky, be funny, make fun of them and tease them, but not in a mean way, and be blunt and be honest with them. And I did all that, and it worked very successfully for me.
Yeah.
Then I
Well,
started.
you're a comedian too, so you know how to do that stuff. It's easier for you. But that was really good advice.
Exactly. And then then I started doing the dating websites, and I met all these girls who said on their websites, that on the dating sites, that their profiles, that they were looking for relationships and what have you. But every time I went out with them, they just wanted the sex, and I didn't have any problem with that. I was in my 20s, and
Right.
I was making up, for it. And it was fun for a while. And then by the time I got to 30, I was just like, I'm done dating. And so for the next 2 years, all I did was have one night stands. And then I had a car accident that was really, really bad. And I've been recovering from that ever since. And so I haven't had any game whatsoever. And I think partly it's because I'm this big old guy who's walking with a cane, So I don't know.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know, what the future holds for me with women right now. I guess it's just at the point where I'm just trying to work on myself and work on my career.
Yeah, well, and be okay with the fact that you're using a cane and find your swagger with that cane. It's funny. I've been watching Grey's Anatomy. Lately, I like to watch shows at night that I don't mind falling asleep to. So shows like, those, it's not a big deal if I miss half an episode. Anyway, there's this one character on the show, and she's a doctor, and she's a pediatric surgeon, and she used to roller skate around. That was like her thing. And then she lost her leg, and on the show, it took her like a year and a half to find her swagger again with this new leg, and not being able to be as mobile as she was, or seemingly as fun. And in the last episode I just watched, she was learning how to use her roller skates with her fake leg, and it takes time. It takes time to rediscover the new you and be comfortable with that person, and then redevelop your confidence within that new individual. So it's just a readjustment for you. And I'm not trying to say, it's so easy, like whatever, just get over it. It's a difficult, challenging thing, because you saw yourself one way and now you're seeing yourself a different way, which means that you believe other people are seeing you that way. And for anything, whether you have a cane, or you think that you're overweight, or you think that you're bald, or you think that you're too short or too tall, or whatever it is, that thing that's like your thing that you're fixating on, until you can be okay with it, it's really difficult for others to be okay with it. So that's why, as you just said, like for you to concentrate on your career and building your confidence and getting back to you and getting comfortable with that new state. Once you are, then you can focus on bringing women into your life, because then you can be okay with it and figure out how to handle it, and then teach people how to be okay with it.
Yeah, I just, I feel there are days when I want to have a wife and kids, eventually, and then there are days when I don't, because I just love being single and I love being free,
Yeah, I understand that.
And I feel like I'm in junior high again, because the last few years I've done probably the most jacking off I've done since junior high.
I get that, but that's fun too sometimes.
Oh yeah, it can be. And then the other days it's just like, again, God, can't somebody help me?
I get that. I totally get that.
But I like how you give advice on how to get out of the friend zone, And I actually had a scenario recently where I tried to do that, and it did not go over well. When I was 26, this friend of mine that from childhood, he had this girlfriend for many, many years that I met after I reconnected with him. And when I first met her, I thought she was kind of a dingbat, and and whatever. And then I remember I got invited to her birthday, and next thing you know, I get this weird feeling like I'm falling in love with her, right? Like my friend's fiance. He had just become her fiance too. And for the next few years, we become very good friends. She calls me her BFF, and like we're hanging out, and she's telling me everything, and I'm telling her everything, And at this point, I kind of had a reputation for being kind of a player because I was working as a bouncer in a bar, and I was going home with lots of girls and stuff, and she knew that and everything. But we always confided in each other, and then they broke up, I think, just before my accident. And when I got out of the hospital, we saw each other again, and I still had the same feelings and everything. It hadn't changed. And then she started dating some douchebag who I actually got to meet one time. They came to see one of my comedy shows, and he was just this white, trashy douchebag with tattoos. And a few months later, they broke up, and she tried to commit suicide, and she was in a
Oh my God.
sanitarium very briefly. Yeah, and I was very concerned about her, and I was just devastated that she even tried to do that. And then after she got out, we were talking and stuff, and I don't know, she kept flaking on me to do stuff and everything. And then I called her out on it, and she was being defensive and all this stuff. And then I couldn't hold back anymore. I had to tell her how I felt about her. And she didn't say that she had the same feelings for me too. All she said was she needed a friend right now, and that's all she needed. So I said, okay, I can be your friend, right? And then, I don't know, a month went by, and then she flaked on me again, and then she said to me, I can't trust you because you have feelings for me. And she said some really hurtful stuff like, when I said that you were my BFF, I never meant it. I just was nice to you because you were my ex's friend and all this stuff. And I cried for days. I couldn't believe that she would even say that stuff. And then she blocked me on Facebook and my phone and everything. And it was just very hurtful to me.
I can understand that, but I can also understand her point of view, where she's coming from as well. So it just sucks because you're feeling different things than what she's feeling,
right?
And you're coming from a place of assuming she's feeling the same thing, so her actions seem more hurtful or rude or upsetting. All these situations are very challenging. The friend zone is very challenging because people are fully charged and emotional and upset and taking things so personally, as opposed to taking a step back and realizing, okay, she's just not into me. She's not doing things to hurt me, but it's to make her more comfortable or for my benefit, that she's not trying to lead me on in any way whatsoever. And it becomes very challenging and upsetting from both sides because it's just extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But what's your resolution now with this situation? Are you feeling better about things?
I am, and I'm not. It's just, I've been in this situation before where I've told girlfriends of mine how I felt about them if I liked them more, and they've told me, I don't feel the same way. I don't want to jeopardize our friendship. I love you, like family and all that stuff. And this was relatively new to me, But I feel like, I still care about her, and I hope she's doing well, and I hope she's not with some douchebag again, or even gone back to that guy, And if she doesn't want to be friends, I respect that, but I still do care about her.
I understand that, okay, but it seems like right now she just needs some time.
Yeah.
The thing is that no matter what, you still have those feelings for her, and she doesn't have those feelings for you.
Yeah. It's just the hurtful part was just saying that, she didn't mean it when she said I was her BFF. That was the part that I didn't like, because I felt like I had been led on by her for 7 years,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a lot of it, too, is, whatever whatever, has snapped in her brain from trying to commit suicide and, being in that sanitarium for a little while, maybe it has something to do with it too,
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, it's really sad. Everything. But,
it is sad, but I think it's best for you. Like, the thing is that you guys can't really be friends until you're really not her friend and don't have those feelings for her. So
right.
you guys can be on the same page. Like, once you're in a different relationship or once those feelings have diminished a little bit, but the truth is that you're not really friends.
Right. I thought we were, we were close. I thought we were close, we told each other everything, and we used to go have dinner or lunch, by ourselves without my friend there, and stuff. It's just a weird situation. I don't know what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was curious, though, how far do you want to go with your career? Do you want international success?
I would like that, yes. I definitely want to be more recognized, but I work with people all over the world, so I feel like I've already achieved that. But I obviously want more people to know about me and more people to come to me for advice, because I'm pretty proud of the advice that I give, and it's helped hundreds of thousands of guys already, and I'd love to help hundreds and thousands more.
Nice. Yeah, I saw a video where you're like going back and forth with Dr. Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody who does that, they've achieved a certain level of success, I think.
Yeah, and I think that as well. And then, the next stage for me was I've had a family, so I'm trying to rock that right now. And then I'll go back to doing more media stuff again, hopefully in the future.
Mm-hmm. You currently got yourself a boyfriend?
I have a husband.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, so I have a husband, and I have 2 sons, and I'm going to teach them how to be awesome with women, or men, or, whoever they choose to be with. I'll teach them about confidence and owning who they are and the skill sets they need to talk, approach, attract, be respectful of, and, not get walked all over. I'm going to teach them how to do that.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I think more mothers should be that way, even if they're not a dating expert. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah, my podcast, which you've been talking about a lot, called Ask Women, which is available on iTunes, SoundCloud, pretty much everywhere else that podcasts are available. And if it's not, then email me and let me know, and I'll put it up there. And then also go to my website, winggirlmethod.com, to learn how to attract, date, seduce, get, and keep any woman you want.
Awesome, awesome. I have 2 jokes I want to tell you since you've been an awesome guest. Do you know why cherry trees have a stinky smell?
Why?
Because George Washington cut one.
That's cute. Did you make that up?
No, these are public domain. I never tell my own jokes. I never tell my own jokes on the show because I don't want anyone to steal them while I'm not famous. A Catholic schoolboy goes into a confession booth and says, "Father, I am so ashamed to tell you this. I masturbate 5 times a day, and it goes against everything I learned in Sunday school." And the priest says, "You are forgiven, my son. Please recite 5 Hail Marys and put some ice on that arm." You get it?
No, I don't.
Put some ice on that arm because he masturbates 5 times a day.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry. I'm slow with jokes. I'm really bad. We go to comedy shows, and half the time I'm just like, wait, what? I gotta laugh, but I'm like, I don't understand. I don't get it. Trust me, they go over my head. I'm horrible with them.
Who do you like? Who do you like to go see?
Oh God, we haven't gone in so long. But our close friend is a pretty big comedian named Jay Larson, so we would always go and see his shows. And we like Sarah Silverman. We like Rory, whose last name I totally forget right now. We like Sebastian.
Yeah.
Who else do I really like? Oh, that lesbian woman. I think she's funny too. With the short hair, who has a show on Showtime. She's really funny.
Oh, yeah.
I like Greg Fitzsimmons. I like the guy who was on, what's he on? Oh my God, that show about Google and stuff, about like developing apps, Pakar, whatever his name is. I forget. Anyway, I like a lot of comedians. I just don't know their names.
Yeah. When I'm in LA, I go to the Comedy Store, and I have just a great time there.
Who do you like?
Oh, God. Currently, I like, let's see, I like Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I like Bert Kreischer. I like Nikki Glazer.
I like her too.
Yeah, she's hilarious. Let's see, who else? There's so many I like. And there's also comedians from the 80s that I was influenced by, like Sam Kinison and Andrew Dice Clay and Bobcat Goldthwait.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, those were like...
Yeah, I like Eddie Murphy. Like, I like a lot of old school comedians too.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been doing stand-up 12 years now. And it's gotten a lot easier and stuff, but it's just harder to get booked now because everything is relied on social media and stuff.
Yeah, I completely get that.
Yeah. But at least you got a huge following, and I'm so honored to have talked to you today. I thank you so much, Marni, and keep on being the awesome person that you are.
Oh, thank you, and thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. And I hope I get to meet you in person someday.
I hope to meet you.
Well, there you have it. Marni Kinrys. Ain't she a sweetheart? Thank you so much, Marni. You were very funny and insightful, and I'm glad you got to give me some good closure to my situation. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, add me as a friend on Facebook, join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes.